Most Dubai founders pick a business structure using one number, the setup cost. That specific habit causes the most expensive mistakes. I am speaking on behalf of Best Solution. We have formed over 5,000 companies across the United Arab Emirates. A sole establishment looks cheaper on day one. A limited liability company costs more upfront. Founders save a few thousand dirhams and move on. Then the business grows. A partner wants to join. A corporate client needs a contract a sole establishment legally cannot sign. A bank stalls on the account. Now the only option is closing the first license and building a completely new company. A sole establishment is owned and run by one individual. There is absolutely no legal line between the owner and the business. It is licensed strictly for professional and service work. Consultants, freelancers, designers, doctors, engineers, and accountants all qualify. This framework fits solo service providers perfectly. However, its legal structure creates a severe risk for anyone expanding operations. Foreign owners cannot trade goods or manufacture under this structure. Those specific activities require a limited liability company. An expatriate owner on the mainland needs a local service agent. This United Arab Emirates national handles paperwork only. They hold 0 shares. A single owner keeps all profit and full control, but liability is unlimited. Your private house, car, and savings answer directly for business debts. You keep total control and secure a cheap setup. You also expose your entire personal net worth to daily operational risks. A limited liability company is a completely separate legal entity. The business independently owns its own debts and risks, not you. Your liability is strictly capped at the share capital you invest. Your personal assets stay fully protected from company debts and lawsuits. A limited liability company can have 1 to 50 shareholders. A single-owner version is called a one-person company. It offers the exact same protection. 100% foreign ownership is now allowed for most mainland activities. No United Arab Emirates national partner is required. Ambitious founders choose this structure for a clear reason. It creates an impenetrable wall between personal wealth and business exposure. A corporate structure brings instant credibility with banks, suppliers, and future equity partners. It survives ownership changes seamlessly. Both structures pay 9% corporate tax on profit above 375,000 dirhams. Both register for 5% value-added tax. A sole establishment can open an account, but the review is strict. A limited liability company receives much easier corporate banking access. Liability is where the two structures diverge completely. If a sole establishment is sued, the claim bypasses the business and attacks personal assets. Combine operational friction with total legal exposure. The sole establishment becomes a severe liability in a competitive, regulated business environment. Let us look at a real scenario. I share this from Best Solution. We have operated as Dubai company formation specialists since 2003. A consultant set up a sole establishment offering business advisory services. The work shifted to long-term contracts and larger obligations. A client then disputed delivery and sought compensation for alleged losses. Because owner and company were legally identical, the consultant's personal assets were entirely exposed to the compensation claim. The matter was resolved without litigation. The owner then absorbed the heavy cost to restructure into a mainland limited liability company. Cheap initial setups ultimately force expensive emergency transitions. This chart compares the baseline 2026 costs. A mainland sole establishment typically costs 12,000 to 18,000 dirhams. A limited liability company runs 22,000 to 40,000 dirhams or more. People forget the hidden costs. The local service agent fee is an annual cost omitted from headline pricing. Office tenancy and visa processing rapidly inflate the cheap option. A sole establishment legally cannot take equity partners. When you need one investor, the entire license must be completely dissolved and rebuilt. The restructuring bill is not just the new company fee. You suffer 1 to 3 weeks of crippling operational downtime, moving contracts and staff. Hidden annual fees and eventual mandatory downtime easily erase the immediate cash savings of a sole establishment. Across recent commercial setups, roughly 70 to 80% choose a limited liability company. Only 15 to 25% choose a sole establishment. Freelancers lean towards solo structures for cost and simplicity. Traders and agencies demand corporate structures to enable scale and banking. An expatriate sole establishment does not need a 51% local partner. It needs a local service agent, which is entirely different. The local service agent holds no shares and takes zero profit. They receive a fixed annual fee of 5,000 to 15,000 dirhams. Market leaders overwhelmingly absorb the higher initial corporate setup cost. It is mathematically the only way to align with realistic scaling requirements. Will you take partners or sign corporate contracts within the next 12 to 24 months? Your answer points to the right structure. Choose a limited liability company if you plan to trade goods or sell to corporates. Choose it to build a lasting business. Choose a sole establishment only if you are a solo professional in a very low-risk field simply testing the market. The 12 to 24-month operational projection is the most reliable metric for choosing a legal structure. It overrides upfront cost every time. Free zones issue corporate entities with limited liability for single owners. They do not issue sole establishment licenses at all. These give one owner control plus limited liability. They offer 0% corporate tax on qualifying income and no local service agent requirement. A free zone company cannot trade directly in the local mainland market. If your customers are mostly local, a mainland license fits better. Mandatory electronic invoicing arrives in July 2026. This requires compliant corporate accounting from day one. Sole establishments can sponsor employees based on office size. However, the owner retains personal liability for all employee obligations. A sole establishment and a sole proprietorship are legally identical. Establishment is simply the official regional term. Alternative jurisdictions and incoming 2026 tax regulations demand attention. Establishing a robust formal corporate structure is more essential than ever. Takeaway 1. Decide on liability before you decide on price. Unlimited liability places your personal wealth directly behind every business debt. Takeaway 2. Ask the 12 to 24-month question before you choose. Scaling and corporate clients require a corporate structure. Takeaway 3. Calculate restructuring costs up front. Choosing a cheap setup today guarantees an expensive rebuild tomorrow. Make the correct structural choice from day one. This guide is brought to you by Best Solution. We operational decision cost you irreplaceable time and money later.